Hey you guys, it's me Laura. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids ages 6, almost 11, and 13. And today I'm going to share with you what I have in mind for my 6th grader for the 2024-2025 school year. For this particular curriculum review, I don't really have a whole lot to show you because there's not much physical curriculum that I'm using this year for this one. But I will show you what I have. I'll try and insert some clips of any of the computer stuff that we have, or at least some pictures or something, so you can see kind of what's going on there. So everyone has independent reading. The whole point of this is to build their fluency, help them find books that they love, and hopefully curate a good relationship with reading. Right now, my 6th grader is reading through the Warrior series. I don't think he'll finish with that anytime soon. He may jump around and do other stuff in between, but my guess is for most of the year, that's probably what he's going to be reading, but it's totally up to him for that reading time. Then we have our unit study. In our unit studies, we always have a read aloud book. This will include like his writing and grammar and all of those things related to language arts, as well as literary elements and things like that. We will pull those in with the unit study. We also do a lot of science and history in unit study. I don't necessarily break up our year so that we're doing history here and science here. Every unit study incorporates a lot of history and science. We're going to be finishing up this year, kind of finishing up modern history in America. We still are going to do, we're finishing the Cold War right now. We're still going to do the Civil Rights Unit. We've kind of already done 9/11. So we're really wrapping that up, and then we're moving to doing geography and culture, and I'm also going to tie world history in with that unit as well. So we're kind of moving over to that for his history and science. We kind of pull in as we need to. I'm hoping maybe we can do, we did a little bit of chemistry last year. We've really covered all of our bases for science over elementary years. So I'm hoping this year we can start digging in a little bit deeper with some. He is not a science kid, he's a history kid. So he doesn't usually like the science, but we also do things like the Mark Rober kid and things like that, and try to pull science in and make it as fun for him as we can. And then for his word work, for spelling and vocabulary, that will mostly be done through his unit study, but there are times where maybe the unit study doesn't have as much of that, and in that case I will pull writing prompts mostly from Critical Thinking Company. They have like Grammar Mechanic, I think, is one of the books, and they have some writing books as well. I don't have them to show you because I have the PDFs on my computer, but for spelling we'll also just pull this in. Yes, it's only level 3 even though he's 6th grade, but we're moving through them really slowly, and I feel like at any point getting those foundational skills is not going to hurt. So we're just kind of moving through them as we're able here and there. And he also will have book baskets. So with every unit study I have a book. I also usually have some audiobooks as well, where he can pick whatever he wants for 15 minutes a day on that relate in some way to the topic that we're learning. That way he can dive in a little deeper to things that are more interesting to him. And then he has, at the end of his book basket time every day, he'll fill out this form to kind of let me know what he read and share anything that stuck out to him, or questions he had, or what happened in the story, anything like that. My hope is that over the year we can increase the amount that he's writing a little bit, but I'm not too concerned about that at his point. Just kind of getting into giving some written responses is a really good thing. He is still working on Italian. We're doing Duolingo, and then also I found online it's a beginner Italian course by Italy Made Easy. So they have some free stuff on YouTube, so we're starting with that. He's doing 1 lesson a week, and he'll watch the same lesson over and over again and practice. Then the next week move on to the next lesson. If that goes well, I will go to the website and we'll purchase a membership, but it's kind of expensive, so I wanted him to try it and see. He's also very particular about the kind of stuff that really works for him. So I want to try this for a while and see if it's actually sticking, if he's able to use the Italian more conversationally, and if that works, then we will go forward with that. And again, I'll leave links to that below. He is still doing Type C. His typing is pretty good, but I've moved him up to the adult Type C rather than the kid Type C because I still think he can use a little bit more practice to build his speed, but he's doing really well there. And for literature, we're still doing literature together. So literature is mostly about building critical thinking and hopefully being exposed to different points of view and things like that. So most of these books are left over from last year that we didn't read, But some of the books that were on his list I've pulled because they're a little bit young for him now. So I have some books coming in that I'm going to add to the list. And if you want to see these once they get here, let me know, but they're not here yet. But I've got The Bronze Bow, Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, which was on his list before, but I lent it to someone and I don't know if I'm going to get it back, which is fine. I am aware of that when I lend books out. A Kind of Spark by Elle McNoll. That one is about someone with autism. And then there's Ban This Book by Alan Gratz, A Single Shard by Linda Park, and Mascot by Charles Waters. So those are on the way here. They'll be added to this stack here. We just read those together and we talk about them. Sometimes I will use these books to do their grammar and those other assignments with, but I really like to use this as a time that we can share together and really focus on the discussion and critical thinking and analyzing and all of those skills. He also has what we call a creative block. So for each of my kids, I like them to have skills, things that they're working on that help them discover what they want to do or what they're good at or build skills that they're interested in. But we move it to an academic setting and we offer them some of our homeschooling funds to support what they're doing, and it becomes a little more structured. So he is still doing writing. He's very interested in writing. He loves writing. He has a writing club that he does on OutSchool once a week, and he writes and writes and writes, and his writing is getting really, really good, and it's really neat to see that growth and change for him. But usually he wants to have something else in the roundup as well. So this year we're thinking of adding violin for him. He really wants to take violin. Where we live out in the middle of nowhere, it's very difficult to find teachers, music teachers. So my husband is actually Suzuki certified for book 1. So he is going to look at his schedule and kind of put things together and see if he can maybe get him started and kind of on that path. And if that goes well, we can do further research to see if there's someone else that might be able to teach him as well. But that is pretty much it for him this year. Oh, for math. So for math, he is making the switch to math on the level with his brother. He's kind of aging out of it, which is funny. So this covers math from really preschool up through pre-algebra, so set through 8th grade math basically. And this is one that is very self-paced in the sense of they have a list of all the topics that your child needs to learn, and you can learn them in any order. Once they've already been introduced to a topic and know it, then it moves on to their daily review sheet. And you can decide how often they need to review each concept, and you just kind of work through it in a way that makes sense for them. We pair this with the video lessons from Math Antics, and that works really well. And right now we're at the stage where, since he's transitioning, I'm actually going over all the skills to see what he's actually learned and can do on his own from his previous math program, and to see what he needs to work on, what we need to go back and spend more time on. And then we'll just work through it and get through all the things as we need to. I think this is going to be a really good change for him. It has been a little more work because he has his review every day plus his extra work, which is a little more than the program that he had before. But I think it's going to be really good for him, and I hope that he'll kind of learn to slow down. That's the problem he has. He just kind of rushes through his math. So we'll see what we can do with that. And that is pretty much it for him this year. We don't really have much else. It's fairly basic, but I'm excited. I think it's going to be a little bit of a rough transition for him because the transition into middle school, I do expect more, and he gets comfortable with the way things are. So any change for him is a little bit difficult when it comes to curriculum and things like that. But I think if we make slow changes, I think he'll do well. And I am positive that he is capable of more than he thinks he is. So I'm interested in giving him a little push this year and just seeing what he does with that. So I think that's going to be really neat. But I would love to hear what you're doing with your kids this year, if you're making any major changes and what subjects those are changing. And I will talk to you later. Bye.